Hi, this is the Project Spark Alphabet. I'm Lady Lex UK and today we're doing the letter V. For my prop I've chosen the Video Monitor Small and for my brain tile I've chosen the Visual Filter. So let's start with the brain tile. Visual filters. It wasn't something that was used very much in Project Spark, so you might not be that familiar with it. It is found in World Properties. There we are. World Properties, Sky Properties. There we are. Visual Filter, and there is a Visual Filter gallery, and you have 6 options for filters. So there's Antique, which is sort of a sepia, sort of brown and white look. Black and white, what you expect. Desaturated, which is where the colour has been removed slightly, so it's sort of like a pale paleness of colour. Saturated, which is the exact opposite, everything's really bright, like cartoony. And hazy, which is sort of a yellow, foggy sort of look. Maybe if you were on a sort of alien world or something, you might be useful to use that. So I've set it to black and white so that we can have a look. So if I go into test mode, there we go, black and white. But you'll notice all my B prompts here are all still in colour, and so is my health at the top there. Now that is because the visual effect, the visual filter, only applies to the world and does not apply to the screen display layer. So if you wanted anything in screen display to also be black and white, you'd have to change it manually. It's not going to do it for you, and the way I would do this is where it says B down here. I would just change that to grey, and now we don't have that issue. Obviously, there we go. So we've now got black and white throughout, but be aware of that. It doesn't change the screen display layer. But why is it useful? What could you use it for? Well, I've got some code in his brain here. So I'm going to use the visual filter as an aid to telling the player what is happening with his health. So when the health is less than his maximum health divided by 2, so 50%, less than 50%, then I'm going to set the visual filter to be black and white. Otherwise, the visual filter will be the default. So I'll set that up and I will show you that. Let's get this bandit rogue's brain turned on so we can attack us. Okay. So let's go up to him. Right, so he's throwing knives at us. And we're not quite less than 50. Now we're like less than 50. There we go. We're less than 50%. And so everything's gone black and white. It's telling me that my player is in danger. And on the table here I've got an apple. I eat it. It restores all my health. And the colour comes back to the world. There we go. So you could do something like that. Let me show you something else. As well as making the visual filter black and white, I'm also going to put a square at a scale of 10 and make it red in screen center. So don't forget, this is not affected by the filter, so I can add color to my world while desaturating all the other color. So instead of having a red transparent, because we're going to set the opacity to 0.5, a red transparent over the top of coloured things, we're going to have it over the top of black and white things, and that creates rather a good effect. So let's see that working. So it's the same effect before, when my health gets to 50% or lower, after this rogue has thrown his knives at me. Next go. There we go. And now I've got that red filter over the top of that black and white. So I know I am in danger of dying. And again, it will do the same when I eat this apple. It goes back to normal. There we go. So there's a way of putting some visual effects in. And also that's a way to do with the hazy brain with different colours. You can put an opacity square of whatever colour, and that will change the hazy to a different colour. It will be a variation on that yellow, but you can change the colours as you wish. Okay, let's move on to our prop, and I have chosen the Video Monitor Small, which is this little thing here. It's part of the Sci-Fi pack, and it's a screen with some alien writing on. You can get rid of that alien writing if you turn the power off, and then you can see it is actually a transparent item. One of the few transparent props in Project Spark, and you can use this to make windows if you embed this within other things. Now I have used it here to make a force field, so let's just delete that. I'm going to test mode. I think I turned his brain off. He's not going to attack me. Good, right. So I have a force field here. Now I can see inside the castle, but I can't go in because there's a force field. But luckily there is a lever, handy lever. Press B and down comes the force field. And now I can go in. Okay, and if I press the lever again, the force field's going to work its way back up. There we go. Quite neat, quite like it. Okay, so let's see how that's done. I'm going to take this all apart. As you can see, here is a very large video monitor. And that is power linked from the lever to our screen. And if we look at the brain, the power is off on the screen. And I have changed its appearance, so the screen is completely opaque. I've changed the metal and the glow to black so that it's white and opaque. Right, and in its brain, it's got this code. It says once a vector variable default equals position. What this does is it creates a vector variable that we can go back to that says this is where it's going to be normally. That's its default position. So we need that for later on. When it does not have power, for 5 seconds, it's going to reduce its position Y by 0.05. Otherwise, until that position Y is the same as its default position Y, we're going to raise it. So it's going to be a plus 0.05. And that brings it up and down. Right, and this is power linked to this lever. And this lever's power is on. So it's going to turn the power on this to start with. And so this special effect says visitor monitor position Y is equal to the default Y, then turn it power on, otherwise power off. So this effect will only be there when this is in position. And that's it. Because this is a collidable object, it creates a force field and you can't get through. And we're going to stick that in there like that. And we're going to stick that over the front of it. And that's all embedded in, so we can't see the monitor and all its edges. I've got that in slightly the wrong position, haven't I? 'Cause there we go. There we are. And that's how that works. So it's quite simple, but quite effective, and you can do all sorts of things with lowering and raising objects. But I think that looks quite cool. I mean, I've used the castle, which may not be the best thing for a force field, but you can imagine that in a sci-fi setting. And also the special effect, you can swap that out for any special effect or no special effect at all. It is entirely up to you. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching and keep sparking.